From the hushed corridors of eternity, where light first kissed the void, to the precipice of celestial war, tonight, we delve into a legend whispered in sacred texts and etched in the very fabric of existence. This is not merely a tale of angels and demons, but a profound exploration of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring power of hope in the face of unimaginable darkness. Imagine a being of pure light, a warrior sculpted from stardust and divine purpose, who had stood sentinel for millennia, a bulwark against the encroaching shadows. He had witnessed the birth of galaxies and the fall of stars, yet never had the weight of eternity pressed so heavily upon him. Never had his heart been so riven by the agonizing choice that lay before him. Before him stood the embodiment of rebellion, the architect of chaos. Once his brother, a glorious archangel, bathed in celestial grace, now consumed by a ravenous darkness that threatened to unravel creation itself. His eyes, twin infernos of dying suns, blazed with a cold, knowing contempt. His smile, a cruel parody of joy, promised only despair, a chilling testament to the seductive allure of power twisted by malice. In the trembling hands of our hero lay the chains forged in the heart of creation, imbued with the very essence of God's unwavering will. These were no mere fetters of metal, but conduits of divine authority, capable of binding the deceiver for 1,000 years. A millennium of enforced silence, a fragile truce wrested from the insatiable maw of chaos. Yet as he stood poised to unleash their power, the angel felt a chilling tremor of fear, raw and achingly human. He understood with terrifying clarity that a single misstep, a moment of faltering resolve, could shatter the delicate balance and plunge all he held dear into an abyss of eternal night. The heavens themselves seemed to hold their breath, the celestial symphony silenced in anticipation. The legions of angels who had once walked shoulder to shoulder with him, his comrades in countless battles, now watched in hushed reverence and mounting dread. Time, usually a seamless current, fractured and stretched each second an agonizing eternity. Then, the silence was shattered by a laugh, a sound that reverberated through the foundations of creation, a chilling symphony of defiance and despair. It was not merely amusement, but a calculated challenge, a gauntlet thrown down to test the limits of the angel's resolve. Do you truly believe you can contain me? The fallen one hissed, his voice, a chilling fusion of fire and ice, a venomous whisper that promised eternal damnation. And in that pivotal moment, the angel grasped the true magnitude of his task. It was not simply about enforcing celestial laws or fulfilling a predetermined destiny. It was about safeguarding hope, about nurturing the faintest ember of mercy in the face of utter annihilation, about holding back a darkness so vast, so insatiable, that it threatened to consume everything, including the very angels themselves. Could he truly accomplish the impossible? Could he confront the being who had once embodied light and triumph, where even the celestial host trembled? And if he failed, would anything ever rise from the ashes of a shattered heaven? Tonight we unravel the story of that singular angel, the one chosen to confront Satan himself, to grapple with the agonizing paradox of fear and faith, despair and determination, justice and mercy. This is a saga of courage and heartbreak, of choices that shook the very foundations of heaven, and of a battle that reverberates through eternity itself. Welcome to Bible Mysteries. Before we descend into this extraordinary confrontation, Remember to like, subscribe, and activate the bell icon to journey with us as we uncover the secrets etched within the annals of time. The angel stood alone, silhouetted against the ethereal glow of heaven's highest plateau, the boundless light of eternity stretching behind him like an infinite ocean of hope. But it was not the light that dominated his senses. It was the palpable shadow, the suffocating weight of a responsibility so immense that even the most fearless warrior of heaven felt its crushing force against his chest, a premonition of the storm to come. Before him, looming in the desolate expanse, stood the enemy, but not just any adversary. Satan, once radiant, now irrevocably consumed by rage and malice. A being whose treacherous rebellion had cost countless souls, whose insidious whispers had poisoned the hearts of angels and mortals alike. And on this day, this fateful day, the angel would confront him alone. He tightened his grip on the chains. They were no ordinary restraints, but objects forged by the very will of God, tempered in a fire that could not consume flesh, imbued with the inviolable authority of the Almighty Himself. Chains capable of binding the most cunning and powerful being in creation for 1,000 years. Yet they felt unbearably heavy, not from their physical weight, but from the immense weight of their significance. With every link he raised, he bore the weight of eternity itself. The very air around him seemed to tremble as if the universe itself were holding its breath in agonizing anticipation. Angelic beings hovered at the periphery of his vision, silent witnesses to a moment they could scarcely comprehend. They dared not utter a word. They understood that some confrontations were too sacred, too profoundly terrifying for mortal sound. The angel drew a deep, shuddering breath, steeling himself for the ordeal to come. He had trained for countless ages, traversing the hallowed halls of heaven, commanding legions of celestial warriors. He had witnessed the blinding glory of God and the unspeakable horrors of rebellion. Yet nothing, absolutely nothing, could have fully prepared him for this moment. And then he saw him in his entirety, Satan. His form was both magnificent and terrifying, a grotesque masterpiece of corrupted beauty. Dark leathery wings stretched like black storms across the void, eclipsing the light. His eyes glimmered with infernal fire, and a cruel smile twisted lips that had once sung praises to the divine. Every step he took seemed to warp reality itself, every glance a searing test of courage. "Do you actually believe?" Satan's voice hissed, a viperous whisper that sliced through the angel's very soul, "that you can truly stop me?" The angel's heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the encroaching silence. He yearned to shout, to scream, to hurl himself into battle without hesitation. Yet in that instant a voice resonated from within, a voice he had always known, but now it was louder than fear itself. It was the voice of mercy, of duty, of unwavering hope. He envisioned all that could be lost if he failed to humanity, cowering beneath the weight of encroaching darkness. Angels transformed into grotesque shadows, and creation itself collapsing under the weight of utter chaos. The chains were not merely forged of metal, they were instruments of salvation, symbols of divine justice, the fragile barrier separating order from annihilation. He clenched them tighter, feeling their divine heat sear into his palms. His wings unfurled, catching the celestial light in a breathtaking display, an enormous expanse trembling with contained energy, a visible manifestation of the immeasurable burden he carried. Each feather seemed to whisper, "You are capable of doing this." You must do this." Time itself slowed to a crawl, a single heartbeat stretched into an eternity. And then, with a resolute step forward, a trembling exhale, and a soul-bracing surge of determination, the angel moved towards the fallen one. The weight of his task threatened to crush him. The stakes were beyond imagination. Yet he walked on because he knew with unwavering certainty that courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward in spite of it. And just like that, the stage was set. Heaven held its breath. Darkness coiled, and the first moment of confrontation drew near. The very air above heaven crackled with an unseen energy charged with an agonizing anticipation. Not a sound, not even a whisper dared disturb the plateau where the angel stood resolute. Yet a palpable tension, unlike anything that had come before, pressed down upon the celestial realm, subtle, almost imperceptible, yet unmistakable. Even the mightiest archangels felt a chilling tremor course through their spines. One by one, they arrived, angels of every rank and station, their wings shimmering like polished steel and radiant gold, descending with solemn, almost funereal grace. Their eyes, usually radiating with unshakable light, now held flickering shadows, fear, doubt, even a hint of awe. None dared to speak. Words would have been too fragile, too mundane, too utterly inadequate to contain the sheer enormity of what was about to unfold. The chosen angel stood at the vanguard, the chains clutched tightly within his trembling hands. He surveyed his allies, his warriors, his watchers, even celestial messengers who had never witnessed the horrors of combat, and felt a pang of profound sorrow. How many would succumb to fear? How many would falter when confronted with absolute darkness? Yet he could not avert his gaze, could not afford a moment of hesitation. Not now, not when everything hung in the balance. A soft murmur rippled through the ranks, a wave of whispered prayers and quiet resolutions. Each angel brought something unique: courage, wisdom, power, mercy. Each understood the cost. Each knew the inherent danger. And yet they followed him, drawn by unwavering loyalty, unshakable faith, and the silent command of the one who bore the heaviest burden of them all. The angel's thoughts drifted back to the enemy, to Satan himself. He had once walked among them, resplendent and glorious, singing with the light of creation itself. Now he loomed like a gathering storm, his very presence bending the air around him, his aura a swirling vortex of black rage and cunning. The angel could almost feel the fallen one's anticipation, the cruel delight he derived from knowing that he was feared. "Do you see them?" a voice whispered beside him, a voice belonging to one of the higher angels, ancient and wise, his wings stretching like banners of silver and gold. "They are not here seeking glory. They are here because they must be, because you lead them, because hope, however faint, is still not entirely lost." The chosen angel nodded, but his heart trembled. Hope felt fragile here, in the very face of such overwhelming darkness. Hope felt almost naive, and yet it was all he had. Suddenly, the very air shifted, becoming heavy and oppressive. Shadows flickered along the edges of heaven's light, a stark reminder that the enemy was never far away, that even here, in the most sacred of realms, danger could not be completely banished. The angel felt a cold chill run through him, a whisper of the insidious deception, the unbridled malice, and the all-encompassing chaos that had already crept into creation. He spread his wings, vast, powerful, and trembling with barely restrained energy. Every feather seemed alive with purpose, every movement a silent declaration: we will not falter, we will not fail. The surrounding angels mirrored his actions, unfurling their wings, creating a living wall of light against the encroaching storm. Then came the moment of profound silence before the storm, a pause that felt infinite, a moment where time itself seemed to grind to a halt. The angel's mind raced, questioning, fearing, yet clinging desperately to the one certainty he possessed. He must confront what no other dared. He must face Satan. He must bind him, and in binding him, he must confront the darkness within himself, the doubts, the grief, the immeasurable weight of all that could be lost. And in that suspended heartbeat, the angel whispered, almost inaudibly, "May mercy guide my hands. May courage hold my heart, and may the light endure, because the enemy would not wait forever." The confrontation was inevitable. And when it came, nothing, not fear, not doubt, not even the unbridled fury of Satan himself, would be allowed to stand in the way of divine justice. The void trembled as the angel took the first step forward. Every step felt as if it carried the weight of eternity. Every breath was heavy with anticipation and a gnawing dread. Before him, Satan stood waiting, dark wings unfurled like storms raging across a shattered sky. His eyes burned with centuries of accumulated rage and cunning, glinting with a cruel amusement at the fear he sensed emanating from the angel, that achingly human fear that lingered even in the hearts of celestial beings. "Do you truly believe you can stop me?" Satan's voice echoed across the plateau, each word striking like fire against unyielding stone. "After all I have accomplished, after all the worlds I have claimed you, a mere angel, believe you can chain me." The angel's hands trembled as he tightened his grip on the glowing chains. Forged by the Most High, imbued with divine power, they pulsed with celestial light. Yet even their brilliance seemed fragile in the presence of such all-consuming darkness. He did not answer immediately. He knew that mere words would be weak, utterly inadequate. Instead, he unfurled his wings, wide, vast, and magnificent, catching the golden light of heaven and casting it across the desolate plateau. Every feather trembled with restrained energy, every movement radiating sorrow, strength, and an unbearable tension. Satan laughed a sound that twisted the air, black and terrible, full of mockery and malice. "I once walked in the light," he hissed, "and now you believe you can bind me. Do you feel it, the despair, the utter hopelessness of it all?" The angel's chest tightened. Fear clawed at the edges of his mind. Doubt whispered, "What if I fail? What if this is not enough?" But then he remembered the immeasurable cost of inaction, the souls already lost, the insidious corruption spreading throughout creation, the very trembling of heaven itself. And he drew a deep breath, allowing courage to wash over the fear. "I do not fight for personal glory," he said, his voice steady despite the frantic pounding of his heart. "I fight for hope, for mercy, for the light that still survives in all of creation." Satan's smile widened, cruel and knowing. He surged forward, wings beating with terrifying force, and the ground beneath him cracked with the sheer intensity of his presence. Shadows coiled around him like living smoke, whispering seductive promises of ruin. But the angel did not falter. Step by deliberate step, he advanced, chains glowing with renewed intensity, wings stretched like a shield of divine defiance. And then it began, the clash of wills, the battle of destinies. Satan moved with the force of a raging storm, each strike, each flicker of darkness, testing the angel's strength, his patience, and his unwavering resolve. The angel countered with precise movements, channeling celestial light. Every action, deliberate every moment, a battle not just of raw power, but of conscience. Pain flared as shadows lashed against him, searing his very essence. Doubts clawed at his mind, whispering insidious lies. Memories of the fallen one's past betrayal cut deep, threatening to unravel his resolve. The angel faltered for just a heartbeat, a single moment of vulnerability. And in that heartbeat, he saw it with terrifying clarity, the suffering, the destruction, the countless lives hanging precariously in the balance. It was not brute strength alone that would win this fight. It was unwavering resolve, boundless mercy, a courage that refused to break under the crushing weight of despair. And slowly, painstakingly, he wrapped the chains around the enemy link by glowing link, each one humming with divine authority, each one a sacred promise that evil would be restrained. Satan roared his fury, shaking the very air wings, thrashing in a tempest of black wind. But the angel held firm. He did not falter. He refused to allow the shadows to consume him. And with a final agonizing pull, the chains locked into place. The roar became a scream, a tempest of darkness, frozen in time, bound by divine will. For a moment, there was a profound silence. Heaven itself seemed to exhale in collective relief. The angel's wings sagged with exhaustion, his hands shaking as he gazed upon the restrained enemy. 1,000 years of peace, of enforced restraint, had just begun, but the cost had been immeasurable. And in that profound quiet, the angel whispered to himself, almost as a prayer, "I have done what must be done." Yet how heavy is the burden of mercy, how profound is the cost of duty. Even as the chains glowed around Satan, binding him with divine authority, the angel felt no surge of triumph, only bone-deep exhaustion, only the lingering ache of every choice, every agonizing moment that had led him to this desolate place. The enemy before him was restrained, yes, but his very presence, even bound, still radiated unadulterated fury, insidious cunning, and bottomless malice. Every hiss, every venomous whisper seemed to slither into the angel's mind, probing, testing, questioning. "You believe this ends with mere chains?" Satan's voice slithered into the angel's thoughts, a chilling intrusion. "You believe this truly binds me? You are a fool to believe that light can ever truly hold back what I am." The angel's knees buckled slightly, and he gripped the chains tighter, as if his life depended on it. The heat radiating from the divine links seared into his palms, yet it was nothing compared to the fire raging within his soul. He felt despair, and not just for himself, but for all the lives that could still be lost, for the threatened innocence of creation, for the sheer weight of carrying 1,000 years of enforced captivity on his weary shoulders. He spread his wings wide, their magnificent span filling the plateau, a visible symbol of his unwavering resolve. The feathers caught the golden light of heaven, but the shadows cast by Satan's bound form crept toward him, attempting to pierce that celestial light. And for a heartbeat, he wondered, "Am I truly enough?" The angel's mind flashed with fragmented memories, echoes of joyous laughter in the hallowed halls of heaven, the radiant figure of the enemy before his tragic fall, the insidious whispers of doubt among the angels who had questioned his selection for this sacred task. Could mercy truly exist in the face of absolute darkness? Could courage truly hold where fear screamed the loudest? Satan struck, even though the chains restrained his physical form. A surge of dark energy lashed outward, rippling through the plateau, bending both air and light. The angel staggered, his wings shaking, but he refused to relinquish his grip. Satan screamed, not in fear, but in outrage. A being who once soared in the brilliance of glory now knelt bound by chains of living light. Each link glowed like a divine verdict, condemning not only his rebellion, but every lie he had ever stitched into the fabric of creation. The angel stood before him, breath unsteady, his palms burning from the holy fire he held. There were no cheers from the countless hosts watching, no triumphant roar shaking heaven's foundation. Only a strange and heavy silence, thick as eternity, as if all of heaven bowed its head in reverence for the price just paid. For the chains did more than imprison the enemy. They bound the bearer as well into a covenant that could never be undone. 1,000 years of vigilance, 1,000 years face to face with whispered temptation, 1,000 years haunted by the memory of a brother who once radiated beauty before he fell. He did not collapse. He simply closed his eyes and whispered, "Let the light within me never become the light that once betrayed you." And then he turned away. The chains still blazed, and darkness for the first time in ages had no words. And so, friends, we've reached the end of this incredible journey, a journey that reminds us that even in the face of unimaginable darkness, even when staring down our greatest fears, hope, courage, and the unwavering power of mercy can truly make all the difference. It's a story that whispers to us that true strength isn't about the absence of fear, but about the willingness to act despite it, to choose light even when shadows threaten to engulf everything. What resonated most with you in this retelling? Did any particular aspect of the angel's struggle, or perhaps Satan's defiance, spark a question or a thought? We'd love to hear your insights, your interpretations, or any questions you might have in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and explore the mysteries of this profound story together. And if you enjoyed this dive into the heart of courage and faith, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our future explorations into these timeless stories. We have so many more incredible journeys planned, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.